everyone's in. Everyone's in. And Sebastian's here as well, so he's letting them in as they come in. So
Okay.
we should be okay.
I need like 30 more seconds because I got a couple of people that are getting screwed up with the link.
Take your
Take your
time.
time.
If everyone here wants to just drop in the comments, what you like to get out of this when it comes to social media, or goal planning. If you feel stuck anywhere in your business, you could go ahead and drop your biggest challenge right now, and then we'll make sure to address that ASAP.
Okay, perfect.
We have 35.
You want to just get started?
I'm good to go. Yeah, let's run
Okay.
it.
I'm going to start us up today. And listen, the God's honest truth is when it comes to social media, Cyrus and Juan definitely are doing this at a much higher level than I am. And I actually think that that's why I'm the perfect person to start us up because the reality is like when you think about social media, someone like myself, like I don't love it. I'm not going to pretend like I love it. It's not like my favorite thing to do. Like I'm out running around trying to, help people grow their real estate business. And what I realize is like there has to be a mentality or a shift in the way you approach what social media really is today. And I had the benefit of I hosted a session yesterday, Growth Mastermind, and I had two excellent speakers get up there. And basically what I heard is like I had Ann Singer came on from our social media team, and Lindsay Lastansky came on, who runs basically field marketing for Coldwell Banker, and both of them are eloquent speakers. They did a fantastic job of going through what the world looks like today and why social media matters. So what I'd like to do is just take a few minutes and just talk about it from a very practical perspective, and then apply it to what's going on in the world today, because I think both of those things married together really give you a kind of a perfect foundation for what we're going to get out of Cyrus and Juan today. So from a real estate perspective, and we're just going to go like nuts and bolts in real estate because that's really what I care about and that's what I wake up every day and do. I think about like people always ask, how do I build my business? And that's the general question is like, how do I get to that next level? How do I build my business? So I'm going to give you like the most basic of things when we talk about like open houses. So let's just say that you are a hungry agent and you really want to grow and you're committed to, I'm going to do an open house every single weekend all year long. Forget about holidays, forget about all that. Let's just say you're going to do 52 open houses and that's your commitment to yourself for the year. Well, that's great. And let's say on average, 10 people show up to every open house. Some of them you're going to have 50 people, some of them you're going to have nobody show up. So let's just say we're going to have 10 people on average. And then you're also going to take it a step further and you're looking to grow. So you're going to do door knocking. You're going to do 20, 10, 10, 20 houses across the street, 10 to the left and 10 to the right. And you're going to pick up 40 people. Let's say everybody opens their door. It's perfect scenario. And you do that all year long. Like anybody here, anybody on this call would think to themselves like, wow, like that is a commitment. Like you are really committed to building your business. You're putting in the effort. You're spending 52 weeks of the year not going on vacation and not doing holidays and not doing all those things. And at the end of the year, if you just did those things, you would have 2,600 touches, so to speak. So that's a good number. There's nothing wrong with 2,600 touches. But the problem with that is think about all the effort and what you did. You really weren't leveraging much of your actions. You were out there and you were like, you're taking the steps to in right now it's like snowing in our area. So, you're out there in the winter, you're knocking on doors, you're doing all these different things. It's a hustle and it's a lot of work. So what I always try to get agents to do from day one is I'm like, all right, like, you're doing all those actions. That's great that you're doing that. But how do we take those actions and then kind of like put them on steroids? And the easy answer right off the bat, and everybody should, be thinking about this. You hear it all the time, but not nobody, but a small percentage of agents actually do this properly. Is we're in the holidays right now. If you don't have your CRM set up, if you don't have those basics of like building a database for yourself, you're at such a disadvantage. And the easy thing that I could say is right off the bat, like you have 2,600 touches based on what I just outlined. Imagine if you had 1,000 people in your database. Now, every weekend, you take those same open houses that you're doing, and you're saying to, the 1,000 people in your database, hey, I'm here. I'm doing an open house. Come see me. You record a quick video and you push that out to, as a weekly reminder. Now, instead of having 2,600 touches, you're jumping up to 52,000 touches because you're doing 52 open houses plus the 1,000. So it's a numbers game there. The question is very obvious one is who's going to sell more houses in a given year? The person who's doing all those activities and running around for 2,600 touches, or the person that's leveraging their database and now getting in front of 52,000 people, or 52,000 touches, I should say. So then if you apply that same thought process to social media, it's very easy for you over time to build up a follower base of, 3,000, 5,000, 10,000 people. I mean, Cyrus, what are you at, 120,000? You're somewhere in that range, which is
Yeah.
incredible. So if you make a commitment to social media to actually build and grow, what you're able to do really is you're leveraging the things that you're already doing really well in your business. You're leveraging the 52 open houses that you might be doing, and instead of getting the 2,600 touches, now you're getting in 520,000 touches if you just have 10,000 followers. And it's like, to me, it's a very simple way of looking at this. Like, because a lot of times people say social media, it doesn't matter so much. Where does the business come from? Does it really come from that? Like, and I've heard that through the years. But when you think about it as like kind of a web, like, I always think of this spider web. Like a spider web is not one string. It's a lot of different webs that come together to catch a fly. And when you're trying to acquire clients, you have to think of it the exact same way. Social media is a really easy way for you to leverage to get in front of a lot of people for free. And that to me is like just as a baseline what I wanted to start with. The second thing that I wanted to go into before I turn it over to these guys who certainly bring more expertise to this conversation than I do is where we are in the world right now. Lindsay said this yesterday, and I thought it was such a great point. Is we are like at a point in time where if you think about this, like if I were to say to you 20 years ago or 25 years ago in that range, if I had said to you, hey, listen, like Google is coming out and Google is going to own search and you're at the forefront of the ability to get ahead of that and build the website that you need to build or build the pay-per-click advertising campaigns that you need to build, whatever that may be. If you were able to get in front of that and build all the infrastructure for that before Google really took off, you would be at such an advantage. And every person on this call should be thinking to themselves like, yeah, like I should have, I wish I could have done that back then. Right now, you have a second chance at that. And it's like all the people that are thinking, oh, I wish I would have done that. I wish I would have got ahead of this, but so many people beat me to the punch and now they have an advantage. All of that is being wiped clean by AI. Like when you think of artificial intelligence and like where the world is going, it's switching from search engine optimization to answer engine optimization. And that switch is happening today. It's not happening years from now. It's happening today. So now the question becomes like, what does that mean and why is this tied into social media? If you haven't paid any attention to this, more recently, Instagram is actually being spidered by Google. And that shift took place more recently. So if you think about it, for years and years and years, if you were creating content on a blog or if you were creating content on your website or whatever, Google would take that information and it would put it into search engine optimization. And so when somebody searched for an agent in a particular area, they could get you if you created content that fit that. Right now, when you think about like what Google's doing is they're pulling information from social media the exact same way that they used to pull information or they still pull information from the web, from your website, from your blogs and all that other stuff. So if you're creating great, timely content that's local, hyper local to where you want to do business, they're going to start viewing that as where they're going to push people when they do search. Where it really takes hold, and where it matters most, I would say, in today's world, is where do you think all of these different these different AI platforms are pulling from? They're pulling from credible sources, what they would define as credible sources, and Google is one of them. So if you start building your Google profile, and if you start putting out really great content on a regular basis on social media, on Instagram specifically, but on other platforms as well, you're going to then it's going to pull in from, all of what you're creating, and it's going to push it to Google, and then Google is going to push it to sites like ChatGPT and platforms like ChatGPT and Grok and all these others. That to me is why this is an important conversation. It is the easiest way to get you guys all to think about, where is the world going? How could I put myself at an advantage compared to all the other agents that are out there? Because here's the crazy thing, you can't buy that right now. Like when you think about Google, like for years, like you could have an agent that's out of your area, that knows nothing about your town, that's paying for pay-per-click advertising, showing up higher on search results, and essentially buying that business. That's how Zillow has made their whole entire living. Like the reality is like now we're going towards this AI world where it's all about answers to questions. If you're the one that's locally answering questions on social media and being the local expert, nobody could take that away from you. And so, these two guys are doing an absolutely awesome job in that space. I'm going to turn it over to them, but I hope it gives you just a foundation for why this topic is important, because you have an opportunity today to do what you might have missed 25 years ago when Google was taking off. You have an opportunity to become the local expert, be the person that everybody gets pushed to when they're doing a search on any of these AI platforms. And I'm going to tell you right now, that is where the world is going. It's almost there already, but it's certainly going to be there in the next couple of years. I appreciate your time today. I'm going to push you over to these guys, and here are the real experts when it comes to social media.
So,
Juan, go for it, Juan.
So I have 15 minutes, and then I'm logging off, and then Cyrus is going to kind of take over. But I'll kind of give you guys the big picture. What Michael just went over is the why, okay? And the why is very important because it really just stresses for you guys in terms of like why this is so important to do. And being that we are end of year and we are going to 2026, shifting from just having a singular like perspective on marketing and lead generation and all of that stuff to now really understanding the importance of social media. This is no longer like social media is optional, like it is necessary, especially if your goal is to scale, get more referrals, and convert more listings. In the past, if you just went out of your way to cold call and door knock and do all of that stuff, that was great. But the issue is now people are going to Google you. And when you come up and your Instagram profile is empty, or there's things that are all over the place, or your profiles aren't complete, it's very hard to go out there and consistently get business. So what I'm going to go over the next 15 minutes is the what you should be doing. And as you can see, these are 1, 2, 3, 4 different ways that you could go out of your way to generate business. But what I'm going to focus on specifically for today is the marketing side. And the way I like to explain marketing in real estate is very simple. Your goal is to become the local celebrity agent, which Cyrus will touch into even more. But when you are the local celebrity agent and everyone knows who you are, well, guess what? They trust you. And if they trust you, it leads to more referrals, and it leads to converting those referrals easier, all right? In order to become the local celebrity agent when it comes to marketing, you can either do this in two channels. You can do it digitally, or you could do it physically, okay? And I'm gonna go over both in the next 10 minutes. The first one I'm gonna start out with is physical. And I want you to go ahead and type into the chat if you're currently using physical marketing when it comes to your real estate business. The four main channels that I found that are the most effective, and these are all channels where I've interviewed agents that are doing $1 million a year in GCI or more just through these four channels, are handwritten notes, which I'm gonna get into, client gifting, just listed postcard, and just sold postcards. These are excellent methods for going out of your way to become top of mind in your local neighborhood, but it's physical. It's something they could actually hold. It's something that they could actually feel, and it'll go ahead and give you another competitive edge on top of doing the digital, okay? So let's go ahead and get into handwritten notes. Is there anyone currently doing handwritten notes when it comes to generating business? And feel free to go ahead and type it into the chat. I see Amy is doing physical marketing. Cherry's doing physical marketing. We have Carly Graham. Awesome. You're getting into it. Katarina's doing this as well. Cool. For those who aren't familiar with the handwritten note concept, it's very simple. There's an agent out of, I believe he's out of Maine. There he is, who did $56 million last year as a 24-year-old sending out what he calls golden letters. And golden letters are just a fancy way of coining a handwritten note. Okay. Now, the way this works is very simple. You have to have an offer on this letter. And when you send out a just listed or just sold postcard and you're advertising the house that you just sold, well, the person's going to be like, great, they're tooting their own horn. So what? And after a while, you build up enough credibility or you become top of mind. But just listed, just sold could take years, if not decades, for someone to actually go ahead and say, you know what? I trust them. I'm going to call them. Whereas if you send them out a handwritten note and that handwritten note is very directed towards them wanting to sell their house, now they're going to respond back if they're actually motivated to sell. All right. So the software that I use, because I do not have time to go in there and print out envelopes and write out letters and go to the mailbox and post office and send out all this stuff, is a platform called Scribeless. Okay. And what Scribeless does is they go out of their way to basically like write these handwritten notes for you using robots and technology to make it seem as if you wrote it yourself. So everything is handwritten note, everything is like super like nice script, and it's very, very personalized to the point where it feels like a wedding invitation. Now, if you guys were to get a wedding invitation in the mail and it's redirected towards your name and your address and it's written in someone's actual handwriting, what are the chances of you opening up that letter versus a traditional just sold or just listed postcard? The conversion is going to be 10x. So what we go ahead and do is I'm going to give you guys the script. Feel free to screenshot this, okay? The script is very simple. Hello, and you're going to put the first name of the prospect. Let's say the prospect's name is Jack. Would you consider selling your house at 7289 Dove Lane in Jacksonville, Florida to a prospect of mine? And that right there is the address of their house. From there, you're going to do Sincerely Jack Dawson, Titanic Realty. Titanic's one of my favorite movies. So that's why I use the example right there, okay? This is the golden letter. This is the script. It's very simple, but there's two things at play here. Number one, it's custom made for that individual. People love when things are directly at them. And number two, there's a handwritten component to it, which means people are going to be much more likely to respond back. Okay? And that is the entire thing. You guys could do this without Scribeless. If you guys want to manually pull the data using GeoLeads or RedX or Vulcan 7 or whatever it may be, and actually sit there and write the letters, that's one way. If you guys want to go out of your way to use Scribeless to do it, they'll actually mail it out and write it for you. You just upload the list for $1.50. Okay? Right here, just to show you some results, this is not like me going out there and doing this in theory. Aside from this guy, Will Van Wickler, we've done it with our internal coaching client, and this thing actually works. It literally could get you results in as fast as a week, or it could get you results in as fast as 6 months. The whole goal here is to test it out in your market, pick an area that's converting where there's consistent turnover in home sales, and make sure that you follow up with the leads as soon as they text you, or else they're going to think it's a scam or it's actually fake. Okay? So this is one way of generating business using handwritten letters for outbound clients that you haven't met yet. Now you'd be asking, well, Juan, how can we leverage physical marketing like these handwritten letters to go out of our way to get in front of clients? And I'll do you one better. Instead of sending your clients a generic handwritten letter saying, hey, happy holidays, I hope you have an incredible Merry Christmas, which isn't a bad thing to do. It's better than doing nothing. What I recommend is customize it even further. So here's the strategy number 2. For your existing clientele, whether they're buyers or sellers, we're talking people that have bought and sold with you in the last 5-10 years, and you want to just go out of your way to really just reinvigorate that entire relationship and get them thinking about you in 2026 for referrals, you're going to go to Kalev.ai, and we'll share with you our affiliate link right here. It'll get you 5 free photos. And what you're going to do is you're going to upload the photo of the living room of the house they purchased. Okay? Very simple. Go back to all the listing photos, take a photo of the actual living room. And from there, once you upload it in here, you're going to decorate the entire house using Kalev with Christmas decorations. They just released this feature last week. You could put a Christmas tree, you could put the wreath, You could put some stockings. You could literally put some sleigh bells and some lights and all of that stuff. And what you want to do is you want to customize their entire living room as if a professional designer went in there and renovated their entire house for a Christmas theme. And then what you do is you write that letter saying, I just wanted to wish you and your family a Merry Christmas. If there's anything you need when it comes to real estate in 2026, please keep me top of mind. That hook or that different style of you going ahead and grabbing their attention will completely convert at a much higher level. Clients will call you. They will ask you, how did you do that to my house? And it's going to spark a conversation. Okay. Does anyone have any questions on the physical side of marketing? And I know I speak fast. It's for a purpose. I have no fluff. I'm giving it to you. This stuff works. You just have to do it and do it at scale. Going once. Going twice. And perfect. Okay, cool. Second strategy is going to be digital. Okay. Right now, if someone goes ahead and sends you a referral, I'm going to go ahead and pick on a random person. We have Stasia. I don't mean to call you out, but Stasia, let's go ahead and say that I refer you a client and they need to buy a house in New Jersey for $2 million. And you go out of your way and you're like, yes, I'm super excited to speak with them. Can't wait. And I send them over your name, your information, your brokerage, everything. If they were to Google you, Stasia, would you feel comfortable knowing, wow, just by them Googling me, I'm going to go ahead and get this client and want to work with me because my entire credentials look so great? Or would you feel a little bit nervous if I were to Google you right now in front of 75 people?
I would be very nervous.
Perfect. Okay. You are not the exception. You are the majority, and that's okay. And that's the whole purpose of this training. So Stasia, bear in mind, moving forward, every single time you get a referral, whether it's from someone in your church, your community, a colleague, a family member, whoever it may be, moving forward, they are going to Google you. And it's probably already happening right now. And there's a good chance you're already converting these people even after they're Googling you. But the thing is, you can make your life so much easier and increase the likelihood of you getting a chance to work with this client by just taking advantage of digital marketing and completing and filling out all of your profiles. So it's very important moving forward, you start auditing yourself consistently when it comes to your brand. And in order to audit yourself, it's as simple as just Googling your name. And based on what comes up, which is a combination of your website, your social media, your branding, your Zillow reviews, your Redfin reviews, your Realty.com reviews, and everything on that side, people start generating a mental image of what it would like to be working with you. And if they can't find anything about you, then they assume that you're not up to par on marketing standards, or worse, they start making their own mental image and their own mental judgment on who you are. And you never want to go ahead and put that power in the hands of the prospect. You always want to give them a good understanding of what it would be like to work with you. So the main channels that you guys want to be focusing on this year are these 4 channels: YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and LinkedIn. And when it comes to YouTube, there are so many people that are going out of their way to have great success by creating content on their local community, and it's generating them hundreds, if not thousands of leads. If you want great inspiration for just what I think is the ideal YouTube channel, you guys should look up Ken Pozek, okay? And what Ken is doing is he created an entire channel called the Orlando Reel, and all he does is talk about what's happening in the city of Orlando when it comes to real estate, when it comes to developments, when it comes to theme parks, why people are moving there, brand new restaurants that are on the scene, huge new development sites that are happening. All he's doing is he's going out of his way to interview local business owners. He's studying and researching what developers are doing and then advertising on it. And he's basically become his own media channel. His own media channel where instead of him having to go out there and pay Zillow to get in front of leads, people call him because they see him, they trust him, they consume his content. And when people call Ken, do you think Ken has to pre-qualify them and go out of his way to sell himself on them? Absolutely not. It's actually the opposite. The client sells themselves on Ken saying, you have to work with me. I've been seeing your channel. I love what you're doing. I would love to go out of my way to work with you. Okay. So YouTube is a big one. And when it comes to YouTube, make it hyper local. Your goal is not to become a national expert on real estate. It's to become the citywide expert on Hoboken or Union City or Jersey City or Orlando or Miami or Flushing, Queens, or make it a very, very, very niche product. And then just make it about how you can educate people on what's happening in the real estate market, in the community, and anything else, okay? When it comes to Instagram, I'm gonna give you a couple of examples, okay? If you're not posting consistently on Instagram, two things are happening. Number one, you're not generating traffic, which means you're not generating leads online. And number two, you're not staying relevant, so people forget about you. And then when someone goes ahead and mentions the word real estate, they think of someone else like Cyrus, okay? The important thing here is you need to be posting, write this down, minimum one reel per day. And when I say a reel, I mean short form content. On YouTube, you need to be posting minimum one long form video per week. And if you're just starting out, maybe you do per month, okay? A really, really cool hack is taking your long form video, sending it to an editor, and then having them extract the videos into short form reels for you. But for Instagram, for TikTok, even for YouTube Shorts and for LinkedIn, for short form content, you should be posting one time per day. We find this works really, really well in most markets. And if you could scale it to 3 times per day, it's only going to get better. Okay. So now that you have the posting frequency, we have 2 minutes left. Let me walk you through what you're actually going to be posting. There are 3 channels I like on Instagram that are crushing it when it comes to buyer leads and seller leads. Okay. The first one is Nava Realty Group. It's actually owned by Armando Nava Jr. and his wife. And what they do is they are really, really good at posting high-end luxury drone videos. And all they're doing is they're posting these drone-like videos and these house tours on their Instagram. Now, bear in mind, there's 2 things you're going to notice. Number one, it always tells you a really good hook. So as soon as you go ahead and watch the video, there's 2 things at play. Number one, you're looking at a stunning house. Number 2, there's an actual going ahead hook that tells you what piece looks like in Texas. Well, $5 million buys you in Texas. Wait till you see the 2-story primary closet, the front versus the back. The hook is what gets people to tune in. If you just post a luxury house, no one tunes in. If you post a luxury house with the hook, you have people tuning in. If you go ahead and you do this to another extent, let's just say you post the hook, but it's a $300,000 house, most people aren't going to want to take a look. And you may be wondering, well, Juan, how do I find luxury properties? It's very simple. You reach out to the listing agents of these luxury homes. You guys want to check this thing out? These aren't even their properties. They're posting the address, the square footage, the listing price, and then they're posting the actual person who owns the homes. And what do they start doing? They started going to local developers and builders and asking them, could we advertise your properties on social media for free? We won't charge you anything. We just need access. In the process of doing this, Armando and his wife have not just started creating hundreds of posts that are go ahead and generating them thousands of buyers leads per week, but they're associating themselves with luxury real estate, and now higher end buyers are reaching out to them naturally because they assume these are the homes they sell, even though the majority of these aren't even their listings. The second one is Georgia Estates. If you guys don't want to be inside of them, Georgia Estates does a really, really good job of posting luxury homes, but I want to go ahead and highlight the feature. They have 1,700 posts, and these people have 1,900 posts. So if you divide it over 365 days a year, they posted for 6 years straight once per day. The amount of consistency and volume it takes to become successful is way more than you think, okay? This isn't something where you do it once or twice or 3 times, you do it for 6 months. You have to dedicate to this at least the next 12 to 24 months to make it something where it just becomes your entire marketing engine. And if you look at the strategy right here with Georgia Estates, very simple. They post the house, they post the information, they never release the address. They go ahead and tell you exclusively listed by Gina Knox with Dual Real Estate, but their entire thing right here is direct message GA2187 for more information. And if I were to direct message them, they would automatically send me a form to fill out so I could get more information, and boom, they have a lead. My friend Nicholas owns this page, and he generates thousands of buyer leads per month, and these are all luxury buyer leads. He's had celebrities reach out to him. It's an incredible way to go out there and get more business. The last one, if you want to go ahead and customize it even further, this is a friend of mine. Her name is Lady. Her and her son record social media content. They get tens of thousands, if not millions of views on their video. It's very simple. 3 hooks. Number 1 is the address or the location up top. They never put the price. Number 2, they put the person in the video. And number 3, they make it an MTV crib type, type tour. None of these houses are owned by them. None of these are their listings. Once again, they are going to agents and ask them for permission to market their property. And then once again, there's always, always, always an entire action. It's comment casa if you want to buy a house, and then you see everyone commenting casa right there. Okay. So that pretty much wraps up on my end. What I just gave you is the what. Okay. And I think, Cyrus, you could dive into a little bit on 2026 in terms of the how, like how they actually execute and all of that stuff. But does anyone have any questions on this before I log off?
I think you're a good one. We appreciate you. Thank
Anytime.
you.
I'm going to drop the links for Column and Scribeless if you guys want access to that in the Zoom. And then I will catch you guys later.
Cool. Thank you, Juan. So I see all kinds of questions in the chat. I will get to questions as we go through. But one hit on a couple pieces. And one of them was, the digital content. My bread and butter is Instagram. It's where I see the most growth. I hit over 2 million views monthly, consistently. And I'm at the point in our in my social media journey that I'm posting 4 to 5 reels a day, which is insane. It sounds crazy, right? But I'm gonna kind of break down how I got to where I've gotten, and so that way that you guys can get there, because I think that's the most important piece. I sell typically from social media. This year, actually, I have my numbers for this year, and it's 32 million in just from Instagram this year. So we tracked that from my productivity. And by the way, this includes referrals from other agents and straight buyer leads and seller leads from Instagram. Just the other day, I had someone DM me that I've never known. I've never met. He DM'd me and he said, "Hey, my friend wants to sell his house. He asked me to help, but obviously I can't do the marketing. Would love to have to connect with you." And so I sat down with him and his friend. Oh, I'm listing his house come January. That's a $1.3 million house, right? All from just social media. So as we go through here, I kind of want to talk about how we're going to get there. And again, any questions or anything, I'll hit them as we go or throughout it as I see them, or at the end. So the first piece is that, and one touched on it. It's be the local expert. I think what's super important and to understand is when you are posting on social, people pay attention when you provide like value beyond just real estate advice. So the standard post for real estate agents over the last, 10 years with social media is just sold because it makes you feel good. Like, I don't like what you need to realize is the consumer does not care that you just sold that property. You need to figure out what makes the consumer feel good, right? Not what makes you feel good. What makes you feel good is saying, "I just sold this and look how great I am." But the reality is you're going to feel way better when you start closing more houses. And who cares how many houses you sold on Instagram? They care about what's valuable to them. So a big piece of my content strategy is like local content. So I'll give you an example. I'm here in Seal Beach, California. I might do videos on restaurants and coffee shops in my area, right? And I might talk about those coffee shops in my area, what it's like to live in the area. When I got into the business, I had a mentor tell me, "Cyrus, sell the sizzle, not the steak." And it's a super old adage, right? But that's what you have to do with social media. That's what you have to do with your area. You're going to reach people because of what Michael was talking about, right? AEO, not SEO, right? Because of all of what's happening with social media. Instagram, by the way, is piloting right now Instagram TV. Or 4TV, Instagram 4TV, not Instagram TV, Instagram 4TV, where you can watch it on TV, right? This is going to be game changer. because the new way for people to consume content. And if you are the person like I forgot who the YouTuber was that talks about the area and so on and so forth, and you're the one that's giving all the information. I'm working on buying a house in Lisbon, Portugal. And I probably watched every single reel about lifestyle in Portugal. I've watched every single YouTube video about Portugal and best restaurants and so on and so forth. Now, I also got connected to the number one agent in Portugal because his social media strategy, because he was posting about, oh, this is my favorite place to walk in Parque de Flores and so on and so forth. And this is where I like to eat and so on and so forth. This is being the local expert. Like, understand, we need to be posting our content should be lifestyle focused on being the local expert. That's the first piece. The next piece is like when we post those things, the biggest hack that I've created in my social is like I was posting like consistently, just like one post a day, so on and so forth, just posting consistently. And I'd have some that would hit like crazy, and then some that would like I was like, that content was way better than the other one. And so my now wife, I'm sitting there, she runs social media. She's my secret weapon. She runs social media accounts. And I was sitting there, I'm like, I don't understand. Why did this content hit and this content didn't? Right? Like, this is way better. It's better quality, so on and so forth, blah, blah, blah. But for some reason, it's not getting as many views, as many likes, as many comments, as much engagement. I'm like, why is that happening? And it was because of the hooks. When you record a video, there's one thing called a hook, right? It's what Juan was talking about, that hook of this is why you should be doing this in 2026, blah, 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 and gets that first thing engaged. But when you're on your explore page on Instagram, you're not watching all those videos. It's not just this. You're looking and you're seeing visually. So you need to make sure that the visual hooks are written as well. Meaning when you post that video, you'll see, like, if you go to my page, I might post a lot of podcast content. I might post a lot of content about, random things. But every time I always clip it, my social media team now clips it to an interesting part of my conversation. It might be like in the middle of my conversation, I might say something like, yeah, and then, that's how you don't make any money, but this is how you're making it. But we might clip, that's how you don't make any money. And so when people are visually looking at that, they see that and they open that video because they want to know why they're not making money. But reality is the video might not have much to do with that, but it might be that piece. But I need to get people into there to be able to track from there. So the written visual hook is super, super, super important. The next piece is when you are that local expert, it's really easy to go about making that content. For instance, in the coffee shop. I'm in a coffee shop right now. My Wi-Fi was not working today. So I'm in a coffee shop right now, and it's really easy for me to make the content, for me to post, like, have my coffee and post a little picture about it, do a video about me with my, with the background or whatever, and, that's it. But if that local content, right, is meant to reach more people, and you are meant to be the local expert, your face needs to be in it. This is, nowadays, social media is the realtor that has their picture on the side of the car. It's the realtor that has the billboards down the street. I outperform in my market. I drive down the street, in one of the markets that I sell probably the most amount of units, and I see billboard of agents that don't touch my production because they're doing this old school thought process of, this is what it is. I have a billboard everywhere I go. Anytime someone goes to the coffee shop that's local here and they look at, what's on there, guess who shows up? My face. Right? And so it's important that you don't just create the local expert content, but you're in the local expert content. It could be like best places to eat in Seal Beach, California. And then you have a carousel post like this, but your picture should be in there. Maybe it's the background photo. Maybe it's at the end. If you have more information, if you want more recommendations, or what's your favorite place in Seal Beach to eat, blah, 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 and your picture's there. You should be in that content no matter what. Your face needs to be in the content. If you're posting reels and videos, your face needs to be in the content. And I promise you, nobody cares how great you look or how bad you look. Because the value is the content that you're giving them, not you. It's the same thing that I'm talking about earlier when we talked about your just sold post. It makes you feel good. But why are we doing this? We have to look at the why. Why are we putting content out in the world? We're putting content out there, hopefully to gain business. And so if that's the motive, then it doesn't matter how you feel, because you're going to feel good when it hits your bank account. I promise you that. So then the next piece is like, I want you to make sure that you're creating content for your future clients, for your clients that you want. So an important exercise that I do with all of my agents is I sit down and I say, who's your ideal client? Okay. Most of you probably operate your business as a shotgun approach. Anybody's my ideal client, anybody that's got money. And I'm like, yeah, for sure. I'll work with anyone that has money. But that doesn't mean that that's who I'm chasing, because it's impossible to chase everybody. So I want you to look at it from a sniper approach, find the target that you're going to hit. For instance, your ideal client might be, you might be in a military area, right? So your ideal client might be VA clients. So your content, everything that you put out should chase that VA client. Now, if you get other people around there, great. But if you niche down and you focus on who your ideal client is, you're going to get those people and you're going to build your content towards that future client. Now, once you get to a certain efficiency with social, you'll be able to hit, 3 different ideal clients. It might be a VA, it might be teachers, and it might be a doctor. And you might have 3 different posts going out in one day. 10 years ago, not even 2 years ago, content used to be, social strategy used to be, let's focus on niche down, only one niche, and lock in on this. Today, that is not the case. Whoever tells you anything different, BS. Call them liars. Because your content can reach more people than ever. And the way the algorithms are reaching is you can be talking about teachers in one, and it'll push the content to everybody that wants to see teachers. And then you could be talking about VA, and it'll push the content to everybody over there. And you may never see my content unless you're scrolling on my page and clicking. I'm telling you, I post 5 reels a day. You don't see all 5 of my reels. I can guarantee that. I hope you do. Go watch all of them. But my point is that choose one niche to focus on. Build content for that. Once you have that going, then add another one. But don't do that beforehand. But build it towards the client that is your future client, not other agents in the business, or to make yourself feel good. The last piece of this is arguably, I think, the most important piece, and that's engagement. The more that you engage with followers, the more that you engage, and it's funny because you guys will see like even in inside the chat, I just have a habit. I like always engage with people even inside the Zoom chat over here. I'm liking all your guys' stuff and blah, blah, blah. The reason is because engagement actually creates connection. That's how we connect with people in social media. So there's studies and studies and studies that happen. Like, you can post all of the greatest content, but if you're not engaging, the algorithm's not going to show your content to all the people that you want it to show it to. So for instance, if I'm chasing real estate agents, for instance, or if I'm chasing teachers, I might go to the local school's Instagram or whatever, or the school district's pages, and I might follow all of those. And then I might find the teachers and I might comment on posts and things like this and like certain things, because as I do that, my content will start showing up with them. That's how the algorithm's going to start pushing your content. When people, yes, I just saw that comment. Can you automate engagement? Yes, that's where I'm getting to. You guys are beating me to it. When you engage, let's see if I can pull that up right now. That's this one. Boom. When you engage, what's going to end up happening is you're going to, boom. There you go. Can you guys see that? All right. When you engage, what's going to end up happening is you are going to start seeing your content being more quote unquote successful, meaning you're probably going to get more views, more likes, more blah, 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 blah. But the most important piece is that more people are seeing your content, period, end of story. I don't know how to, can you guys see my page, Michael?
We can see your page, but I don't think you're in presenter mode. Like I could see your slides on the left-hand side.
Okay, hold on, stand by. Zoom is the death of me. Stop sharing. All right, here we go. 1 second, guys. I'm going to get into this really quickly. Share as a background. Boom.
While Cyrus is pulling this up, what he's going to go into now is related to ManyChat, which really it helps you with engagement. It's still not a presenter mode, but the reality is we can see the screen.
What the hell?
What?
Okay. Well, I'll just. That's fine. But you guys can see the screen.
Correct.
Okay. It's supposed to show me in front of the screen, but whatever. Okay. ManyChat. So we talk about how to automate engagement. ManyChat is the way that you're going to automate engagement. It is probably single-handedly one of my favorite tools that I use. And by the way, the bottom right of it, I don't know if you guys can see that. It's got like a QR code. There's a QR code to my Instagram, but then there's a QR code to 50% off ManyChat for first 2 months. I highly suggest that you guys utilize this, and I'm going to go through how you would actually create an automation. But I'm going to tell you a couple stories about it. First off, like I use ManyChat. If you guys follow me right now, if you guys go to my Instagram and you follow me, in about 2 to 3 minutes, you're going to get a automatic DM from me. I'm not sitting here being like, oh, I'm just going to pull somebody up. Carly just followed me. Oh, great. Let me go send her this message. Like what's going to end up happening is it's going to send you a message and it prompts you to engage. So you'll click yes or whatever the question is in there that it sends you. You'll click that. And what that does for the algorithm's sake is it shows that you want to talk to me and you want to see my stuff. And I'm responding back to you, right? So now Instagram sees us as friends, which now what's going to end up happening is because Instagram sees us as friends, my content's going to show up in front of you more and more. And as my content shows up in front of you more and more, I'm going to have a higher probability of conversion, right? And I'm also going to be able to go in. And now what I do is I go in, I'll respond back. Like, by the way, I respond to all of my DMs. Sometimes it takes me a little while, but I will respond to you. I'll chat. Like if you guys have questions or anything, please reach out to me. But then we'll actually create real conversations within the DMs, which then again, puts my content in front of you over and over and over and over again. So now I'm posting 5 videos a day. and one of them might be on AI and social media, and that content's going to show up in front of you because we talked about AI and social media inside our DMs, whatever it is, right? And that's the thought process. That is why engagement's so important. So I'm going to show you how to create an automation using ManyChat, a step-by-step creation of how to create an automation, because sometimes people are like, oh yeah, we got these tools, but then I don't know how to use them. And then all of a sudden it's like you have this tool that's like this amazing tool, but you can't even, it's not doing anything for you. You guys have all seen those things where people are like, comment, love, and I'll send you XYZ. That's ManyChat. It's probably like a couple other platforms too. I've used Instachamp. I've used pretty much every automation platform. ManyChat, I just came back to. I tried to avoid ManyChat for years. I'm like, no, like I could do it with the cheaper version. I could do it with this one. I could do it with that one. Take it from me. Just save all your money and just go straight to ManyChat, because I wasted money using every other tool. So what's going to happen is once you create a ManyChat, you're going to connect your Instagram, and it also connects with TikTok, by the way, but I'm not going to go into TikTok today. I'm going to talk about ManyChat or Instagram. So you'll connect your Instagram, and once you connect your Instagram, they actually just released this feature called templates and quick automations. So you'll literally be able to open it. It'll say start here, just like this. You'll click start here. You'll click auto DM links from comments. Okay, I'm going to go through the workflow of how I use it. And this is when, like, for instance, if you go on to any of my posts right now and you comment AI, it's going to send you a message saying, here's the link to the AI social media masterclass, right? And then it's going to take you through a flow to get you to give you the class of the masterclass, yada yada. That's from this DM. So what'll happen is you'll click that. After you do that, you'll go to ManyChat, whatever. After you do that, what'll end up happening is it'll pull up your reels. So it'll pull up like when someone comments on a specific post or any post. I use any post, right? And I'm going to talk about a use case for you guys that I think is probably one of the best use cases as a real estate agent, and it's called the deal of the week. Okay. Every single one of you should be going onto your MLS and looking at your hot sheet every single day. Okay. No matter what, oh, I only sell this. No, you should be looking at your hot sheet of your market every single day. And so you're going to see whatever that deal is that comes on the market. It might be, for instance, there was one property that came up in our market that was like under 800,000 in a market that like everything's over $1 million, right? And it was like, oh my gosh, this is a great deal. That's my deal of the week for that week. You can do this in every subsect of your area. So for instance, I might do Seal Beach deal of the week. I might do Newport Beach deal of the week. I might do Long Beach deal of the week. And I might have content. The videos might be very similar that I post, but I'm going to have those things. And so it might be comment Newport, which we'll use in this example, comment Newport to get the deal of the week. And so I'm going to show you kind of how I do that. And so I use the same automation. So let's say in the future, somebody comments Newport on another post or whatever, I've updated the link on a weekly basis so that it sends them the new link on a weekly basis. But so you're going to go ahead and click any post or reel, or you could select a specific post, or you could say your next post if you're getting it ready. So you're going to do that. Then once you do that, your next flow is going to be what your keyword is. So for instance, like the keyword here might be Newport, like I said, right here. Your keyword might be Newport. And that keyword, again, it might say comment Newport for the deal of the week. Boom. Once that happens, what'll happen is they will automatically get a message from you. I also, what we realized with ManyChat and with automations is, guess what ends up happening is engagement. We need to automate the engagement. So there's a way that I can go in and I can go ahead and comment after every single person that posts it. Yeah, I'll send it to you. Yeah, and then I go in and then I send it over here and blah blah blah. Or I can have the system automate everything for you. So once it comes Newport, you're going to want to turn on that ticker here that says reply to their comments under the post. By the way, these are like the generic comments. So like it just comes up, thanks, please see your DMs, sent you a message, check it out. Nice, check your DMs. I usually will edit those out. I might change them, to more of my tone, but you could just leave them. And basically this is what will end up happening. Someone comments Newport, I automatically comment back, thanks, please see your DMs. Okay.
Cyrus,
Yeah.
the one thing that I'm just gonna put out there, because this is awesome, but I've used ManyChat before, and I would just warn everybody on this call: don't pick a generic thing that like you talk about all the time. Because if like Newport, for instance, if that's something that you're not constantly having in your, in your conversations online, not a problem, but you don't want to use the word the. It's just going to shoot all this information to every single person that talks to you, unless it's specific to that post. And that's one of the things that I screwed up on when I first did it. And I was like, it was driving me insane. So just be careful about what that word is.
Yeah. I'll give you another example that I use that is a generic one. And I kind of feel both ways. Yeah. You don't want to use like a generic word like that you use in every sentence, but I have one that's like podcast. Right. So if you comment podcast on any of my posts, you automatically get all my podcasts. If you DM me podcast, you automatically get my podcast content. And so even if you're like, oh my gosh, I love your podcast episode, it'll be like, hey, check out this. But I see the DMs that I get and I just respond, oh, you got my automation, blah, 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 blah. But my flows are meant to get engagement. So it's showing that we're talking. So for me, that generic way is okay. But like Michael said, you don't want to put some generic words in there, because what'll end up happening is if you type in like he said, what'll end up happening is every message, every comment that you get will end up getting a message, and they're going to be like, what the hell, what's going on? Thanks, Mike. I appreciate that. So Newport is my keyword. And then you're going to go by the way, let me go back up here really quickly, just so I can give you another variation. If you chose next post or reel, which is right under, I don't know if you guys could see that. If you post next post or reel, what'll end up happening is it'll just go for your next post. So in that case, you could use any word. So just if somebody just comments anything like, oh, this is great, oh, send it to me, blah, 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 you could just say comment on this post and I'll send you the deal of the week, and it'll send it just for that. The thing is, you're going to have to duplicate that automation week over week for the next reel. Does that make sense? I try to release as much workflow from myself as possible. So I don't specifically like that automation, but you can. Then after that, you're going to turn on the ticker to reply to comments. And then you're going to have the opening DM. So what's going to end up happening after you send that? So let's say they comment Newport. Again, I'm taking you guys through the workflow so you understand. Once they comment Newport, what'll end up happening is you'll send them a comment back like, thanks, check your DMs. Then automatically this DM is going to be sent to them. And this, by the way, this is all the generic stuff. So if you just go in there and do a couple clicks, you'll have your ManyChat automation set up already. You don't have to think about this. You just got to make sure that you're following this process of turning on the right tickers. But this opening DM will come to them. It'll say, hey there, I'm happy you're here. Thanks so much for your interest. You could change the verbiage on this all day long. You can do whatever you want with this. And then it'll have a little thing that says, that's got that opening DM text, right? So this is how that opening DM looks. And then it'll say, send me the link. They'll click that and then it'll automatically respond for them, send me the link. So it's like they're messaging you to send you for that. And then what'll end up happening after that is a couple different things. If you do it how I suggest you do it, then it'll ask them for them to follow you first, and then it'll ask them for their email first, right? So there's these automations. But let's say it's just you just wanted to send them the link, you click send link, and then all of a sudden it sends it. That's also okay. But you can customize the thing. I usually say, like for this specific thing, it says, "Hey there, blah blah blah. Click below. I'll send you the deal of the week." Right here, so you could see like I changed the text. Click below, and I'll send you the deal of the week in just a sec. And then I click send me the deal, and then I have it say send me the deal of the week, so they can click that. It sends that, and then what will end up happening is I turn on the ticker asking them to follow you first. So then it'll say, "Hey, we're almost there. This is especially for my followers." And then what'll happen is like it'll say right after you follow me, I'll send you the link. So now you're increasing your following count. What'll happen is if they click that following button, it'll click follow, and then it'll send the message again if they're not actually following you. Right? So it'll keep them in that loop until they actually follow you. But once they follow you, you click following or they click following, it will then go to the next piece. Okay. So really, really important if you want to grow your follower count and the people that are there from your local standpoint, this is a super important piece. I think there was a question, but I can't see them right now, so I'll answer any questions after. The next piece is you can DM to ask for their email. Both Juan and Michael talked about building your database, building the people that your pipeline. In real estate, we understand like you're not going to transact just using social media. No one is going to sit here. I mean, it happens sometimes, but no one's going to be here and be like, "Hey, okay, I want to buy a house," and only talk to you from social media. Right? Like you got to move the conversations from social to your phone, to your email, so on and so forth. And any online lead takes multiple touches. I usually say it takes 17 touches in the first 14 days to convert an online lead, which is nuts when you think about it. But these are cold leads that are coming. Again, they know your influence, so they're like, okay. And every once in a while that doesn't happen. But I need to be sending them my weekly newsletter, my monthly newsletter, my market updates. They're getting emails now weekly from me after they go through this automation. Once I send them one deal of the week, I'm really doing all of this so that I can get their email address and get the follow count and get the engagement. Because once I send them one deal of the week, they're going to get it in an email every single week as well, and they're going to see it on their social. Right? So I'm going to turn on to ask for the link, and then you're going to input the text. So now, for instance, now you just said, okay, hey, send me the deal of the week. They said, okay, cool. You're like, as long as you're following me or here, put your email in. Then they're like, okay, cool. Then they're like, as long as you're following me first, okay, cool. They followed you, and now that they're gonna get the DM. They said, okay, they're following you. You got their email. Now you're gonna put, and I just make it super straightforward. I'm just like, here it is below, and then I add the link. So you'll click add link. You'll create the button label. This is super important, like where it says deal of the week, or click here for deal of the week, right? You want them to know what to do. And then you're going to add the link there. Once you insert the link, so you'll click deal of the week. Once you insert the link, you'll click save. I turn on this ticker next, which is the follow-up DM. So that what happens with all of these automations is people fall off. Okay. So someone might have went through this. Send me the deal of the week, send me your email, following, and then I said, here it is, and then they never click deal of the week. So what I do is I do a follow-up DM automatically again, right? And by the way, how Instagram is seeing this engagement is you and I are messaging back and forth together. So Instagram is saying what they're seeing is that you want to see my content and we want to stay connected. That's why all of these are super important. But what's going to end up happening next is I'm going to have an automation, and this is like the basic one, but I'm going to have an automation that says follow-up DM that says, hey, if you're still curious, don't forget to click the link above, right? That way, if they don't click it, let's say they don't click the deal of the week, that's the value that we're trying to give them. They don't click it, we send them a follow-up saying, hey, don't forget to. So I'm messaging them, following up with them automatically. This is all, by the way, this takes about 2 minutes to set up. It took me longer to explain it, but it takes about 2 minutes to set up. And how I send, so the other piece is the deal of the week link, like and by the way, these are, I don't know if you guys could see that. This is your 50% off mini chat for the first 2 months. That's my Instagram. This is an AI social media masterclass that I have, that you guys can click and
move it a
check
little
out.
higher, like cycle down on the page because your head's in the way. No, like this guy's ducking.
I can't cycle down on the page.
All right. Well, sorry.
Is that better? Oh,
Yeah, definitely better. Well, zoom in a little bit. Yeah.
that's better.
Yeah, I just want people to be able to get the link because this is a great tool. I agree, and I want to make sure that they could actually get the percentages off.
Cool. Yeah. I have like an exclusive deal with well, not exclusive, but I have a deal with ManyChat. That's why they give 50% off for anyone that we send over. So it's pretty cool little deal. What I was gonna say is like the other little bonus tip that I will tell you is some agents, they go on to Zillow and they get that deal of the week link and they put that link into this. I don't want you to do that. I don't want you to use a portal. I don't want you to use the deal of the Zillow, Redfin, Realtor, blah blah blah, because that's what that's what agents will automate to. They'll be like, oh, let me get the link from Zillow. I want you to get the link from your MLS. Okay, this is super important. And if you don't know how to do that, I guarantee you can go to your MLS, call your association. They'll tell you how to pull a link for a specific property if you don't know how. It varies for every MLS, so I don't know. There's also an app called MLS Touch. I don't know if it's available in all market, but like that, you can click a link and it'll make a link specifically for you that shows your information with the MLS information. You want to use a link like that, not a Zillow or Realtor.com, because for instance, like our company, I have a Zillow preferred. So like when people use the Zillow link, it goes and it's like, oh, come look at this property for or set up a showing for this property. Like those calls come to me. They're not going to go back to you. We want to keep them inside your ecosystem. So that's a little bonus to understand how to set that automation up. But the deal of the week automation rushes. It's super important. I'll send. There's that. There's a 50% off, and then there's Call Live. I'll send out the thing here, and then let me guess.
The question was asked about Real Scout. I think the point is it doesn't matter what system you use, just as long as it's personalized to you. Like what Cyrus is getting at is he doesn't want you to push people to a portal and then have them find another agent. Like ultimately, like Real Scout is perfect for this. Any type of CRM based, system that you have that drives the leads directly back to you works, it's applicable.
Yes. So Real Scout has a specific property link. Ylofo has it, Radius. I mean, there's all kinds of technology that has it that keeps it for you. It might be your IDX website on your own website, whatever it is, you want to keep it there. And then go from there. Carolyn asked sending PDF to be like items of value usable today. Yes, this absolutely crushes inside that social media masterclass that I sent. Oh, actually, I didn't even send that. Here's a link for that. Inside that link, like I talk about what pieces to actually send. So like, and how to create those using AI. But that crushes. It's like a freebie. It's like, hey, comment this. I'll send you a guide to best restaurants in Newport Beach. And then they might get a guide of this. It's a PDF. that you could set up with automations using ManyChat, Mailchimp, and Canva with an automation that creates it. That absolutely crushes.
I'll give you
Again, your goal is to get as many contacts as possible from your social. And then I'll go over another bonus, but Michael, go ahead.
Yeah, what I was gonna say is like one thing that's a really easy way to use this is, and this goes back to what I began with before, is like you're trying to create a web and like get people to like, to catch them in a million different ways. For me, like if you're doing an event and you have, a host of people coming to the event, a lot of times you're gonna give a giveaway at the event. Like, do you want the slides? Like, you want the slides from the presentation? All you have to do is DM me slides. Like, all you have to do is write, in this, click on this post and write whatever the keyword is. And now you could get, the 10 pitfalls to avoid when listing your house in the spring market. Like those type of things, it's just a very easy way to, to use a PDF or use, some form of a presentation that you send it over to them. And it gives them a reason to reach out to you online.
I have another one that we use for open houses. And the open house one that I have is an open house giveaway. It's the oldest thing in the book. Everybody talks about, oh, do a giveaway, blah, blah, blah. I do it with social media. So we do every single open house, we do some sort of giveaway, yada, yada. But how I do that is when I do the open house, I have them actually follow, my social media. I'm like, hey, we're doing a giveaway. Scan this QR code and then comment on any of my posts on this post or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And you'll be entered in a giveaway for $100 gift card, whatever. Why? Because in open houses, right? And I'm a big believer in like both old school and new school marketing. Like this is how I've crushed in my business. But in open houses, you guys are probably doing some sort of sign-in sheet or gathering information somehow. The thing is that when you do sign-in sheets, which I don't specifically use, it's a whole different method. I'm not going to get into that. But when you do sign-in sheets, if you're me, I don't use them because I go into an open house and when someone asks me to sign in, I put fake information all the time. I'm like, ha, gotcha. junk@gmail.com. Can't call me, And so we realize that. And so what I do is I need to give value, right? So I need to get information to these people. And what I also realize is that there's a lot of people that have agents. There's a lot of people that are not being serviced by agents, so on and so forth. I believe in taking market share. And how I take market share is I want to transact with the most amount of people and I need to give the most amount of value, right? So what I do is I have people come in. I do an open house giveaway. By the way, I have the automation set up in ManyChat. Okay, so let me break this down for you. The automation, as soon as they comment, then it will automatically send them a message back, ask them for their information to enter, and then it will actually choose the winners based on a percentage of what I want. So it'll choose a winner. It'll respond back, hey, sorry, you're not a winner this time, blah, 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 blah. Or it'll say, hey, congratulations, you won, blah, blah, blah. Here's the link. That is all automated. I don't even need to choose the winner, which is insane when you think about automations. This is within ManyChat, but the open house automation or the open house giveaway is a great way for me to gain more market share. Why? Because every single person wants a $100 gift card to Amazon. Right? If you go buy leads from Zillow, Redfin, Realtor.com, Realty.com, blah, 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 or you get a referral from another agent, you're probably paying 25% minimum to that portal or to the other agent. 20%, let's say, right? So what's $100 to get 20 different people following you on social media? Lead flow, their email addresses, their follows, and then you're putting local content out about that area. Guess who they're going to end up working with? For example, PDF explainer.
Yeah, I'm actually, I put that in there. For those of you in New Jersey, and I know we have people from all over the country, and outside the country on this call, you have to just check your local laws. In New Jersey, we're a non-inducement state. So, like, using the example of like having a giveaway, like, we wouldn't be allowed to do that. But you are allowed to use like different forms of resources that you're giving away. So, like, we couldn't be like, sign up for this and you'll get, entered into this, raffle for $100 gift certificate. But what you could do is say like, hey, listen, want to know the tricks to negotiating in today's market in, Short Hills, New Jersey? Not a problem. Like, fill this out and I'll send you that PDF. Like those type of things you could do. So you have to use it the right way. And ultimately, I think at the heart of what Cyrus is saying and what I actually really love about this thought process, and I used to do the same thing when I was in sales, is I would go into an open house and my strategy would be, all right, like I have different demographics or avatars, however you want to say it, that are looking for different things. So some of them are first-time home buyers. They don't know, they need a guide. They need somebody to like walk them through the steps of the home buying process. I had other people that weren't familiar with the area that were coming from out of the area. They needed like somebody to drive them around and give them area tours. Then I had other people who were familiar and really were like analytical, and all they cared about was, I want a tool to be able to negotiate more intelligently in today's market. Like just using those three examples, they're not the same, they're not the same person in terms of what they really want and where the value, what value is valuable to them. So ultimately, you do have to go into these open houses or whenever you're in front of, client facing activities. You want to go into that and like have certain tools that are like in your arsenal that you break out for different demographics. What ManyChat allows you to do is you could create all of that content beforehand and then say like, hey, like you're interested in X, Y, and Z, type this in on my, on my Instagram and I'll send you it, automatically. Like those are the type of things that you have to build this ahead of time, but think through like who are you targeting and what's the best way to tap into that target?
100%. The reality is that you have to give value. Period. End of story. So yes, okay, it might not be the legal to do it in a certain way in New Jersey, but if you give value, you're going to get it, right? So it might be, hey, I'll give you PDF explaining the home buying process, yada yada, blah blah blah, whatever. You can do something like that. That'll work. But the idea is that you want to drive people into another way that they're going to see you on a daily basis over and over and over and over again. Is there any other questions for this? Yeah. Well, if you want something first, make a deposit. I love that. Does anyone have any questions about any of the automations, about any of the process, anything like?
Any, if there's any like just general questions, I know we, did a deep dive in Cyrus. That was awesome. I mean, I've used ManyChat, but I have not used all the functionality that you have. And, that was the master class on how to do this. So I appreciate you running through that. If anybody has just generic questions.
By
What
the
was
way,
it?
like, yeah, like even if later you guys are like, oh, we're running into an issue with ManyChat or something, like a lot of my strategy and use for ManyChat was from I went to a creators only, invite only summit in LA that they ManyChat put on with Instagram in conjunction, and that's where I got a lot of these tools and use cases. So it's super efficient, and that's so like any questions about ManyChat or anything like that, or automation, just let me know.
I'm going to talk about the Google piece that just came up. I don't necessarily know exactly what Google's strategy is moving forward, so I can't speak to that. But one thing that I thought was really interesting, if you haven't paid attention to it, is Google is doing testing in different markets right now. They're partnering with House Canary about actually really like being a portal themselves. So obviously, Zillow has been, the 800-pound gorilla in that space for years, where people are, putting in a search on Google, Google's pushing them to Zillow. In the past couple of weeks, they've actually started testing out, not pushing them to Zillow, but actually featuring the properties on Google. And I think that if that continues in that direction, it's a game changer. No question about it. So much so that anybody who owns Zillow stock, you got hurt this week. Like, because everybody's, investors realize that if Google makes that shift, they could ultimately cut Zillow out. And that's a pretty crazy thing if you think about it. So I would strongly suggest that if you haven't read any articles about that, you start paying attention to it. It's something that, could play a pivotal role moving forward, depending on how it tests. Cyrus, a couple of these are for you, I think. You're on mute.
Talk us through your follower growth, Cyrus. How did you measure it as you were going, and was it an engagement on instant process, or was your main strategy gaining? What was your main? No, strategy wise, as far as growth goes, um, how my Instagram grew significantly very quickly, which again, like, and now I'm seeing another growth pattern that I think is going to even grow even more significantly over the next couple months. And that's a whole different case, but I'll get into that. The when I started really leaning into focusing on pushing out content, what I realized was it is a quantity, not a quality piece. Sounds crazy, but what I realized is I was trying to perfect every post before, and I wasn't getting every post out. And what I noticed is that it's about putting out more content consistently as much as possible. So for me, I went from posting, like I said, once a day. Actually, it was like a couple times a week. And then I finally got to once a day. And then I was like, no, I'm going to post 3, 4, 5 times a day. And I do that with automation through scheduling through Instagram. I don't use third-party scheduler because third-party scheduler actually hurts your engagement. So for me, what I do is I try to push out as many videos as possible, as many reels as possible, and as many carousels as possible. And then when I see something that hits, I realize that social media, I realized this a while ago when algorithms started really shifting, is it's not chronological. One of my posts that I posted 4 years ago just went viral and has 2 million views on it. And it posted years ago, but it's just because it showed up somewhere and then it just started hitting. I have another one that I posted a while ago that just hit 1 million views because, again, it showed up and now it's hitting, right? So I think what's important is putting out as much content as possible, because the algorithm, when people start viewing it, it'll start pushing it more and more. So that was a huge piece of like growth for me. And then as far as metrics go, like, I am super data driven. I look at where my content's performing, what pieces are performing well, how much how much engagement I'm getting this, what are my comments on this, what are my likes on this, how many saves, how many shares, so on and so forth. All of these pieces I review on a weekly basis with my social team to look at, okay, hey, why did this post perform well? And it is a lot of, for me, it's a lot of trial and error. Once I find something that works, repeat as much as possible, right? The bonus piece that I was going to talk about, where I think I'm going to have major growth, is my trial reels. Right now, I took a reel that went viral with over 1 million views. I took that. I recorded 100 different hooks and CTAs. So hooks are at the beginning of the video. CTAs are call to actions at the end of the video. I recorded 100 hooks in the beginning, 100 hooks at the end. I had my social media team and editor put those hooks at the beginning and the end, different ones, and we're posting those as trial reels. So they're different videos, but we're posting them as trial reels, and we're seeing so much more engagement because trial reels, and they live in trials. They don't come. There's an option to make trial reels go from after 72 hours if they perform well, go to your feed. I don't care about that. I want them to reach out. Trial reels push to everybody that's not following you. So when you go and you start doing stuff like this, where you have a video that works, now let's create different hooks to see what other engagement we can get. And then you can also study and say, oh shoot, like this hook really works. So like we should lean into more hooks like this. We should lean into more negative hooks. We should lean into more positive hooks. We should lean into more CTAs that help that are more, you know, advice CTAs, right? So on and so forth. It depends on what it is, but we're like, I am quickly becoming a content machine as far as a social strategy goes. And when something works, I rinse and repeat it. Like that is the play. Most people, they think that you post one video and then it's oh, that's it. But not everybody's seen your video. Like most of the time when you post a video, not everybody's seen it. So what I like to do is I like to say, okay, hey, this video performed. I should post that again in a different way. Maybe we do a different edit with it. Maybe we do a different hook in the beginning. Maybe we do a different ending, so on and so forth. But we're going to repost, and use that because it's going to reach more and more people. That is the strategy as far as like growth goes. And then, but you have to know and analyze your data and your analytics on a weekly basis to be able to know what's working. And then we hook it up with automations with ManyChat and so on and so forth, so that when they do work, we're also increasing follower count, increasing engagement, and so on and so forth. Hopefully that answers your question. Do you have suggestions on retain someone to do all this? Like to hire someone to do this? Is that what the question is, Cheryl? I'm guessing that that's what that is. Do you have a suggestion on how to retain someone to do all this? There's a bunch of different ways. Yeah. If you guys want like somebody that can run all this and do all of this, send me a DM. I will send you recommendations. Like I said, like my wife runs all of my social strategy. I also like have other people that I'm really close with that can run social strategy for you guys as well. Like I will tell you right now, it is super, super important. Even if you don't want to hire somebody full time, it's important to show up to the dentist every once in a while, you know. And so you got to go get your cleanings. You got to get your and sometimes just sitting down with somebody for a consultation or an audit is like super helpful, so that you can take it and put it into action. And then once it starts growing, then you can take it and run with it. But if you guys want someone that's going to help you guys do all of this, like send me a message. I'll send you my team that literally does all of this.
Guys, I also want to point out, I put this in the chat, so if you're not paying attention to it, take a look at it. You know, all the videos that we do, I post on the YouTube channel. So if you follow me, you'll get them immediately as soon as they're posted. And we actually are doing this monthly, like we talked about last time. So last month's is already on the YouTube channel. This month's will be posted there as well. And I just posted the link in terms of signing up for next month's session. Next month's session is not going to be specific to social media. Next month is all about the tech stack that we're using for 2026. So you're going to hear about all the different systems and tools that, you know, we feel will help you build and that we're using to hopefully grow our business.
Again, appreciate you guys being on. I'm going to send these links all again here. One for ManyChat, one for the masterclass, one for Colive and Scribeless. Give me a second. I'm trying to pull those up. While
Cyrus is doing that, I'm just curious. Do you guys like what you're hearing here? Is this helpful for you? Put it in the chat. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you. I appreciate that. And we're going to keep doing these. So, you know, it's all about you guys trying to help and pay it forward.
There's that. And then yeah, like Michael said, like our goal for this is really simple. Like we just want to share what we've done. Michael, Juan, and I became very, very good friends. We met from well, I met Juan outside of 30s, but then he became a 30. I met Michael because he was also a recipient of National Association of Realtors 30 under 30. And we just all have a really abundant mindset. I believe like everything that you'll see on me is butterflies. Like I love butterflies, and I believe like small little things make big change. And my goal, like my success on a daily basis, is positively impacting one person on a daily basis. So when I do these, this is like fulfills everything and then some for me. And so like I really do like this is why we're doing this. It's an abundance thought process. It's to share what we how we've gotten to it. You learn from experiences in life. They don't need to be your own. So learn from our experiences, take the shortcuts to get to where you want to get faster. Like we're giving you keys to a Ferrari rather than starting you in a Prius. You know, no offense to anybody that has a Prius. But you know, the thought process for us is if we can do this on a monthly basis to just share value and help you guys grow, we love that. Also, like one of my favorite things is hearing that you guys are like taking this and it's working for you. So like also keep us updated. Like if you guys use any of this today, if you guys use any automation that I sent you guys in ManyChat or whatever, like please tell us, hey, I use this, it works, yada yada. I will tell you the main thing about any of this, no matter what in this business, the number one thing to do in this business is consistency. If you do something once, it's not going to have results. But if you're consistent with this and you really want to grow 2026, like I will tell you, if you just stay consistent with this, this will reap its benefits. It may not be right away, but I can guarantee because it's working for me, this will create results for you and your business will change. So, I've interviewed hundreds of very successful people in the real estate space in business. And I will tell you, every single one of them, it comes down to success equals consistency and discipline over time. So stay consistent, stay disciplined over time, and you will reach your success. Thank you guys so much for being on today.
Thank you guys. Appreciate you and have a very happy holiday, whatever you may be celebrating.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you.